If you're reading this now, I want you to slow down for a moment. Take a breath. Let the noise around you fade just a little. Imagine, for just a few minutes, that I am sitting across from you at a small table, the kind you find in a quiet kitchen on early mornings when life feels softer. I want you to imagine the soft clinking of a teacup, the warm glow of sunlight on a window, and the feeling that you are not alone. Because you aren't. You have stumbled upon this message for a reason, and I'm glad you're here. My name is May. Most people introduce me as Elon Musk's mother, and that's fine. I am incredibly proud of my children, but I've lived long enough to know every person's story matters. Including yours. You didn't arrive at this moment by accident. Something inside you has been searching. Something inside you is restless, hungry, impatient, or maybe even aching. Maybe you're looking for direction. Maybe you're struggling with doubt. Maybe you're trying to become someone that the world will one day look at with admiration, or at least, respect. Whatever brought you here, I want you to know this: you are capable of more than you've allowed yourself to believe. I've lived through poverty, uncertainty, heartbreak, fear, and years where nothing made sense. I've raised children without knowing how tomorrow would look. I've stood in empty rooms wondering how I was going to make ends meet. I've smiled on the outside when life felt impossible on the inside. And through all of it, one truth kept me steady: you do not need a perfect life to build an extraordinary one. Perhaps no one has told you this recently, so let me be the one to say it clearly: the life you dream of is not foolish. It is not too big. It is not too far away. It's waiting for your courage, not your perfection. Elon didn't become Elon by accident. None of my children became who they are by having everything handed to them. They became who they are because they were encouraged to think boldly, to work relentlessly, to remain curious, and to understand that failure is not a wall, it is a door. A door that almost always leads somewhere unexpected, somewhere necessary, somewhere better. And I want you to understand that the world you admire in them, the boldness, the intelligence, the courage, you have your own version of it inside you. You might not believe that yet, but you will. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late, you are simply becoming. I want to tell you something important, something I've told my children many times: the world doesn't reward talent nearly as much as it rewards endurance. You don't need to be the smartest, the luckiest, or the strongest. You just need to keep moving forward, even when you're moving quietly, even when it's slow. Even when no one is clapping. Especially then. Do you know what most people misunderstand about success? They think it feels like fireworks. They think it feels like applause. They think it feels like winning. But most of the time, success feels like waking up one morning and realizing you didn't quit. That's it. It feels like persistence. It feels like showing up again and again and again until the world has no choice but to notice. You're here because something inside you knows you're meant for more. And I want you to pay attention to that voice. Not the voice of fear, not the voice of insecurity, not the voice that says you're too late or too flawed or too ordinary. Those voices are lies. Understand that deeply. Let me share something personal. When my children were young, I had almost nothing. We moved across continents. We lived frugally. We worked with whatever we had. And let me tell you, you don't need abundance to build greatness. You need resilience. You need passion. You need humility. And you need the daring belief that life can improve if you do. Maybe right now you're standing in the middle of a situation that feels beyond your control. Maybe you're uncertain about your future. Maybe you don't have support. Maybe you don't have resources. Maybe you don't even have energy, but listen carefully, you have something priceless, the ability to continue. Most people underestimate the power of continuing. You will not always feel strong. You will not always feel inspired. You will not always feel ready. But you do not need constant strength, you need consistent direction. If your life feels messy right now, good. Messy means you're rewriting something. Messy means you're growing. Messy means the old you is shedding, making room for something better. Growth has always been uncomfortable. Transformation has always been awkward. Reinvention has always been chaotic. You think Elon's journey was clean? Smooth? Predictable? Hardly. There were failures, massive ones. There were moments where everything seemed lost. There were people who doubted him, mocked him, and counted him out. But he didn't stop. And the world eventually moved out of the way of someone who refused to give up. As his mother, I can tell you, relentlessness beats brilliance when brilliance stops trying, and you must be relentless with your own becoming. I want you to remember something I learned painfully: no one is coming to rescue you. But the beautiful thing is, you don't need rescuing, you need awakening. You're stronger than you think. You're wiser than you give yourself credit for. You're capable of more than you've tried. And when life pushes you, I want you to push back with the quiet conviction that your story is not over. Think of every great person you admire. Every innovator. Every artist. Every leader. Every dreamer. They all had one thing in common: they kept going long after they were tired, and you will too. But before you continue your journey, I want to talk to you about something most people ignore: your relationship with yourself. I've noticed that humans are incredibly kind to others but merciless with themselves. You speak gently to strangers but harshly to your own heart. You encourage everyone else to keep going but secretly doubt your own potential. Why? You have to stop treating yourself as if you're disposable. You are not. You matter. Your dreams matter. Your future matters. Your energy matters. Your healing matters. Your ambition matters. Your courage matters. I want you to imagine your life 1 year from now. Not 10 years, that's too far for the mind to hold. Just 1 year. Imagine what could happen if you stopped letting fear dictate your choices. Imagine what could grow if you watered your courage instead of your doubt. Imagine what could shift if you treated yourself with dignity. I have lived long enough to tell you this with complete certainty. Your life can change dramatically in 12 months if you take yourself seriously for once. You don't need motivation every day. You need discipline. You don't need perfect plans. You need imperfect progress. You don't need loud victories. You need quiet improvements. You don't need applause. You need direction. You don't need permission. You need self-trust. You don't need to look like someone else's success. You need to look like your own. I've watched my children grow into extraordinary human beings, not because they had exceptional childhoods, but because they learned how to stand up again and again. And that's what you must do. Stand up again, even if you feel tired, even if you feel lost, even if you feel scared, especially then. You may not see it now, but the life you want is built through the things you do when you don't feel ready. You grow in the dark seasons. You mature in the confusing ones. You rise in the difficult ones. If you are going through difficulty right now, let me offer you this perspective: you are not being punished. You are being prepared. The strongest people you admire are forged in situations they thought they would never overcome. Life will test you, not to break you, but to build you, and every time you think you've reached your limit, you will discover a new layer of strength you didn't know existed. That strength is born in adversity. That wisdom is born in mistakes. That courage is born in fear. Do not resent the challenges in your life. They are shaping you into someone extraordinary. Now, I want to talk to you about something essential: your dreams. Maybe you've been told they're too big. Maybe you've been laughed at. Maybe you've been discouraged by people who gave up on their own dreams years ago. But hear me clearly: do not shrink your life to make insecure people comfortable. You deserve to dream boldly. You deserve to want more. You deserve to expand. You deserve to evolve. You deserve to surprise yourself. Every bold idea begins with someone brave enough to say, "Why not?" Be that person. Do not negotiate your potential down to fit someone else's small vision. The people who criticize your dreams are often the ones who were too afraid to pursue their own. That's not your burden to carry. The truth is, the world needs more people like you, people who dare to imagine. Dare to work, dare to persist. People who refuse to settle. People who refuse to let fear win. People who break the pattern of mediocrity running through generations. You have greatness in you, but greatness needs expression. It needs effort. It needs patience. It needs risk. It needs solitude. It needs discipline. It needs devotion. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know your next step, and take it. Every monumental achievement in history began with a small, almost invisible step. Let me tell you something important about failure: it's not the opposite of success, it's a part of success, a necessary part. Every failure in your life has been pushing you toward refinement. Every disappointment has carved you into someone more resilient. Every heartbreak has pushed you toward wisdom. Do not hide your failures, study them. They're maps. They're instructions. They're clues, and don't let failure make you bitter. Let it make you sharper. You are allowed to be tired, but you are not allowed to give up. Not now. Not after everything you've survived. Not after everything you've endured. You have come too far for surrender. Maybe you haven't heard this in a long time, so let me say it. I believe in you. I believe in the future you're capable of creating. I believe in the strength you don't yet recognize. I believe in the doors that will open for you when you refuse to quit. I believe in the life that is waiting for you to step into it, and you need to start believing in it too. You are not meant to live a small life. You are not meant to disappear into the background. You are not meant to silence your dreams. You are not meant to shrink. You are not meant to settle. You are not meant to live in fear. You are meant to rise. You are meant to build. You are meant to grow. You are meant to evolve. You are meant to inspire. You are meant to become someone unforgettable. People often ask me how I raised successful children. The truth is simple. I encouraged curiosity. I encouraged kindness. I encouraged independence. I encouraged resilience. And I never allowed them to see themselves as weak. So let me say this to you with the same love. You are not weak. You are not destined for mediocrity. You are not meant to be average. You have power inside you that you've barely begun to tap into. But you must do your part. You must take responsibility for your life. You must stop waiting for a sign and start becoming the sign. You must stop asking what if I fail? And start asking what if I don't? You must stop letting fear make decisions for you. Every day you wake up is a chance to rewrite everything. Every sunrise is a reminder that you still have time. Every breath is permission to begin again. Whether you're struggling with your career, your relationships, your health, your finances, your creativity, or your confidence, it's not too late. You are not trapped. You are not doomed. You are not forgotten. You are on the edge of transformation. You just need to step forward. I want you to look at your life with new eyes. I want you to stop focusing on what's missing and start seeing what's possible. Your circumstances do not define you. Your response does. Even if you have failed 100 times, you still have another chance. Even if you feel behind, you can still catch up. Even if you feel broken, you can still heal. Even if you feel lost, you can still find your way. Do not underestimate the power of a single decision. One decision can change your entire life. One moment of courage can shift your entire path. One step forward can activate everything you've been dreaming about. I want you to move with intention from this moment on. Wake up with purpose. Work with commitment. Rest with dignity. Speak with clarity. Love with courage. Decide with confidence. And treat yourself like someone who is building a remarkable future, because you are. The world does not need another person hiding their greatness. It needs you, the bold you, the healed you, the focused you, the persistent you, the disciplined you, the extraordinary you. Your future self is waiting for you. Your best years are ahead of you. Your breakthrough is closer than you think, and when you doubt yourself, I want you to remember this message. I want you to hear my voice in your mind saying, keep going. Don't stop now. You are on the edge of something incredible. I've lived long enough to know that life rewards the brave. So be brave. Be brave enough to start. Be brave enough to fail. Be brave enough to rise again. Be brave enough to dream. Be brave enough to demand more from your life, and above all, be brave enough to believe that you deserve everything you're working toward, because you do. Now get up. Go forward. Step boldly into the life that is waiting for you. And remember, you are stronger than you think. Braver than you realize, and more capable than you know. Before you go forward, I want you to sit with something I've learned after a lifetime of reinvention. The moment you decide you deserve a better life, the universe begins arranging itself to meet you halfway. Not perfectly, not instantly, but undeniably. Doors appear where there were once walls. Opportunities emerge from places you never thought to look. People arrive at the precise moment you need them. And sometimes, everything falls apart first, not because you are unlucky, but because you are being repositioned. Life has a way of removing what no longer belongs, even when you try to hold on. I've learned that the things you lose are often the things that were quietly limiting you. People who leave create space for people who can see you. Jobs that end create space for careers that fulfill you. Failures that sting create space for wisdom that protects you. Pain that breaks you creates space for strength that carries you. You might not feel it now, but everything you've endured has been preparing you for a life far bigger than the one you've been living. You're not starting from zero, you're starting from experience. And that's a far stronger place to begin. Too many people wait for confidence before they act, but confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you earn. You earn it by showing up when it's uncomfortable. By trying when you feel unsure. By standing tall when fear whispers that you should sit down. Confidence grows inside the moments where you choose courage over comfort. I want you to see yourself the way I see you right now, someone with immense possibility, someone who hasn't even touched the edges of their potential, someone who could change their entire life with 1 year of disciplined devotion. You might think you're ordinary, but ordinary people doing extraordinary effort become unforgettable. And let me tell you something I told my children when they were young: the world will try to distract you, discourage you, confuse you, and convince you that your dreams are unrealistic. But the world is loud, not wise. If you let the world shape you, it will make you small. If you let your fear shape you, it will make you invisible. But if you let your purpose shape you, you will become unstoppable. Your purpose doesn't have to be loud or glamorous. It doesn't have to impress others. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's path. Your purpose is the quiet pull inside your chest, the thing you think about when you're alone, the thing you return to even when you try to ignore it, the thing you can't quite explain but can't release either. That pull is real. It's guiding you. Trust it. People often assume that because my son is successful, life must have always been easy. That is one of the world's greatest illusions, believing that success arrives without storms. It doesn't. I watched him face setbacks that would make most people quit. I watched him endure mistakes, judgment, criticism, and long stretches of uncertainty. But he had something that made all the difference: resilience. And you have that too, or you wouldn't still be here, reading these words, searching for your next chapter, hoping that something in this message will ignite the spark you've been missing. Don't underestimate the strength it takes to keep going. People applaud achievement, but they rarely applaud endurance. Yet endurance is what changes lives. Some days you will feel unstoppable. Some days you will barely feel functional. Both days count. Both days matter. Both days move you forward. I want you to understand something deeply. You are not behind. You are not late. You are on your own timeline, and it is unfolding exactly as it needs to. Stop comparing your journey to people whose battles you've never seen. Stop assuming everyone else is doing better. They aren't. They're just quieter about their struggles. You don't owe the world perfection, you owe yourself progress. There is a version of you waiting in the future, living the life you keep dreaming about, the life that feels so vivid in your imagination. That version of you is confident, grounded, fulfilled, and free. They exist. They are real. They are not fantasy. They are simply waiting for the current version of you to decide. It's my time now. And it is, but let me tell you something important. Your life won't change because you hope it will. Hope is beautiful, but hope without action becomes heartbreak. Your life changes when your habits change, when your priorities change, when your decisions change, when your standards change. And those changes begin with small steps that seem almost insignificant, until they aren't. Discipline is a love letter to your future self. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you are proving to yourself that you can be trusted with your own potential. And trust, self-trust, is the foundation of every successful life. You can start today. You can start with one promise kept. One early morning. One difficult conversation. 1 hour of focused effort. One decision rooted in courage. One shift in your mindset. One step forward. That's how transformation begins, quietly, humbly, almost invisibly. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need to choose the next right step. And then the next one. And then the next. Momentum will do the rest. Now, I want to talk to the version of you that feels tired, not physically tired, but soul tired. The version of you that carries a weight no one else sees. The version of you that wonders if life will ever feel lighter, easier, more meaningful. The version of you that pretends to be fine but isn't sure how much longer you can pretend. I see you. I've been you, and I want you to know this: you're not failing. You're healing. You're adapting. You're learning. You're becoming. Growth feels like exhaustion sometimes. Change feels like heaviness sometimes. Evolution feels like confusion sometimes. What you're feeling is not defeat, it's the discomfort of shedding an old version of yourself. You're not meant to stay small. That's why smallness feels painful now. You're outgrowing who you used to be, and that process can feel like a quiet kind of heartbreak. But it's necessary. Even beautiful, you will rise again, not because life is easy, but because you are built for rising. You are built for reinvention. You are built for renewal. If no one around you sees your potential, good. Then no one around you can stop it. Some of the most extraordinary people in the world come from backgrounds where no one expected greatness from them. Their power came from the fact that they decided to give themselves permission. Give yourself permission. Permission to dream bigger. Permission to leave environments that dim your light. Permission to change your mind. Permission to heal. Permission to succeed wildly. Permission to start over as many times as you need. You are not defined by the mistakes you've made. You are defined by the strength you show when you rise from them. You're not defined by the people who hurt you. You're defined by the compassion you choose despite them. You're not defined by your past. You're defined by your future, the future you are building, one decision at a time. So let me ask you something. What kind of life do you want to wake up to 1 year from now? Be honest. Be bold. Be unreasonable with your imagination. Don't think about what seems possible, think about what you truly desire. Because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not closed by logic. It's closed by courage. I want you to be courageous enough to say, I want more, and brave enough to pursue it. More peace. More purpose. More income. More joy. More discipline. More love. More impact. More freedom. More confidence. More life. You are allowed to want these things. You are meant to want these things. Desire is not greed, desire is direction. Your desires are guiding you toward the life you're meant to live, and I promise you this: the moment you decide to give your dream everything you have, the entire universe will begin shifting in ways you cannot yet see. You just have to begin. I'm here, in these words, rooting for you, believing in you, and reminding you of what you already know deep down, that your future is calling, and it's time to answer. Before I leave you with your thoughts, I want to tell you something that has carried me through every chapter of my life, from the most difficult moments to the most triumphant ones. You are responsible for the energy you bring into your own future. Not your past, not your setbacks, not your fears, you. The world may not have been gentle with you. People may not have understood you. Circumstances may have failed you. But you are still here. That alone makes you extraordinary, every day that you rise despite exhaustion. Despite confusion, despite pain, despite doubt, that is strength. Most people don't realize how powerful they already are because they confuse survival with weakness. But survival is not weakness. Survival is proof of your resilience, your capability, your potential. I have seen people rebuild from nothing. I have watched them rise from heartbreak, from loss, from failure, from moments that felt like the end. And when they finally succeeded, when their life finally aligned, when everything finally made sense, they all said the same thing: I'm glad I didn't give up. And that is what I want for you, to reach that moment, to look back and think, thank goodness I kept going. One day, you will thank the version of you who refused to quit. You will thank the version of you who woke up early, who stayed focused, who believed silently, who trusted the process even when the process made no sense. You will thank the version of you who walked through the darkness with faith in a future they had never seen. That version of you is working right now. That version of you is reading these words. That version of you is alive. I want you to remember something with absolute clarity. The next chapter of your life depends on the courage you show right now. Not later. Not someday. Now. You have a choice, to shrink or to rise. To fear or to try. To settle or to dream. To pause or to begin. And behind each choice is a different life waiting for you. Choose the life that scares you a little and excites you a lot. Choose the path that demands your evolution. Choose the version of yourself you haven't met yet, the one who walks with confidence, who speaks with intention, who acts with discipline, who doesn't apologize for wanting a bigger life. The world may not be fair, but it responds relentlessly to consistency. Talent might open a door, but discipline builds an entire home. Luck might help once, but dedication rewrites your destiny. Show up for yourself, even when no one is watching. The greatest transformations happen in silence, in the small decisions. In the lonely hours, in the moments where your progress is invisible to everyone but your future self, there will be days when the weight feels too heavy. Days when you question whether any of this will pay off. Days when you wonder why you should keep trying. On those days, I want you to remember this message, every sentence, every reminder, every whisper of encouragement. Let my voice sit beside you in those moments and remind you that the point of the journey is not speed, but direction. Forward is forward, even if it's slow. You owe it to yourself to discover who you could be if you stopped holding yourself back. You owe it to yourself to build a life that feels true, expansive, fulfilling. You owe it to yourself to finally say, I deserve this, and mean it, because you do. And before you think this is just inspiration for the moment, let me assure you, real change begins when you realize that your future is not determined by your circumstances, but by your choices. When you stop waiting for things to get easier and start deciding to get stronger. When you stop wishing for a different life and begin working for one. When you stop fearing the unknown and start trusting your own ability to navigate it, you have everything you need to begin. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Not when you feel ready. Now, the world is full of people who are half alive, people who gave up on themselves somewhere along the way. People who settled for less, people who waited too long to believe in their potential. Don't become one of them. You are meant for more than a lukewarm existence. You are meant to live with purpose, direction, passion, and courage. I want you to walk out of this moment with your head a little higher, your heart a little lighter, and your mind a little sharper. I want you to feel something inside you shift, that subtle but powerful realization that your life is still open, still possible, still waiting for you to shape it, and when doubt comes, and it will, remind yourself who you are becoming. Not who you were, not who others expected you to be, but who you choose to become now. You are writing a new story. One decision at a time. One day at a time. One brave step at a time. So, my final words to you are these: live boldly. Dream unapologetically. Begin fearlessly. Continue relentlessly. You have a life ahead of you that will make everything you've been through make sense, a life so aligned, so abundant, so powerful, that one day you'll realize every struggle was guiding you here. I'm proud of you already. And though I may never meet you, know this: someone in this world believes in your greatness. And today, that someone is me. Now go. The world is waiting for the person you are becoming. And they are worth meeting.